Yeah, back to Bieniemy, he basically said in an outgoing interview that Andy calls the play. The Raiders do that. They have Mick Lombardi as our offensive coordinator, but it's really Josh McDaniels calling the plays. Gruden had Greg Olson. It's really Gruden calling the plays. What Bieniemy's great at is he helps design the plays, right? Hardline, and Andy Reid calls him. Now he gets a chance to double his salary. He goes to a team that the Commanders, McKissick, they got McLaurin. He's running the entire show. And remember this: I think Rivera's on the hot seat. You and I and Dale will get into hot seat coaches for next season. It's a good move. Andy Reid ain't going anywhere. He wants to coach under 4 or 5 years. But do I think Bieniemy should be a head coach right now? Absolutely. Do I think it's perfect for him to show his legs? Because he's got to get out of that wing, out of that underneath the Andy Reid tree. What do you think?
No, I think that it's a great move for him. I think that it's questionable as to what happens now with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, that's a huge part. Him and Mahomes have a very good relationship together off the field and on the field as well. So now you're taking a guy that understands how to use him, making plays and schemes, and now you're replacing that with someone. And it doesn't always go as well as a lot of people think. I mean, look what happened to Norv Turner after he took off from Dallas after 95 season. They've never been the same since. So it's a really questionable, but I mean, it's great to see him get this shot in Washington. And if he does take over at Washington, especially if everything happens where maybe Snyder isn't necessarily the owner or principal owner moving forward, maybe in the future, there's a lot of options that are on the table moving forward now.
Yeah, I'm happy for the guy. Good guy. He's got a little bit of a history here in Las Vegas, and I've met him. He's a great guy, and he's on the top of always of the guys you think are going to be a head coaching candidate. I just think right now it's a good move. You think it's a lateral move. You got a big raise. My question will end it on this is why didn't Kansas City match what they were offered? And that pisses me off. But, back to Mahomes real quick. Mahomes lost his quarterback coach and assistant offensive coordinator Mike Kafka goes to the Giants as an upgrade to OC, and the Kansas City Chiefs never missed a beat. Let's go back to the Super Bowl. Hey, guys, this is Daily Fish. I don't know what John's doing today. I think he's probably getting Botox or something like that or getting his nose hairs picked. But I get a chance to hang out with my man Hardline, and we're going to talk about the Super Bowl and prop bets and baseball and basketball and just going to chop it up a bit. But you know what, Hardline? The Super Bowl. How many – John and I give John a lot of shit because he's conservative, and I'm a loose cannon. I'm all about dick jokes and pussies and all kinds of stuff. I'm an idiot. So I'm watching it. I'm on a FaceTime with him. The look on his face, if you notice how many times – now, Rihanna's a drop-dead gorgeous woman, okay? Absolutely. She makes pregnancy look sexy. When she grabbed her crotch twice, when she grabbed her VG and she grabbed her ass, the look on John's face – John does this when he gets nervous. Like that. And I said, oh, shit, if Hardline can see this right now, I'm dying laughing. He goes, what are you laughing at? I go, this is great. This is Rihanna saying to the NFL, fuck you. No PG audiences right now. Did you get her? Did you see her doing that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, she did a magnificent job. And I mean, look, she's had her issues with the NFL over the last couple of years. I think the greatest thing that the NFL did was partner with Rock Nation, because a lot of the people that didn't want to do the halftime show, Jay-Z's convincing now to do the halftime show. And so, she kind of stuck it to him. But it's amazing when your halftime performance rates higher than the Super Bowl altogether.
No, God bless. It was great. That was a joke. Look, forget the woke culture. I think I said this on the show last week. Chris Rock said, he goes, what's all this shit about the Chinese balloons? Rihanna shot him down and used the balloons as outfits for her dancers. Good stuff. Great Super Bowl. We talked, John and Hardline and I talking about the Super Bowl off camera, and it was great. I want to ask you before I ask you some stuff, some prop bets, and we'll make fun of John daily. Do you make that call? You're a handicapper. Do you make that call at the end of the game, even though James Bradbury said I held the guy? Do you make that call, number one? And number two, do you look at it like I did that? No, you might not, but Kansas City Hardline never punted in the second half. What's your take on that?
Do you make the call? A lot of times, the holding call, a lot of times, Russ will let that slip, especially if it's that close of a game. They'll let it go. But again, if it's so egregious that you see it, and you can't help it, you have to make that call. And I think that's a call that they had to make. What most people make it, maybe not necessarily so. It's amazing. And this is the thing I keep telling people when we talk about the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl is the best coachable lesson that you could teach to kids and to different organizations, which is you have to finish strong. It doesn't matter what happens through the first 3 quarters. You have to finish strong. Philadelphia won the first 3 quarters. They just couldn't keep up in the fourth. And when the fourth came down to it, the Chiefs did what the Chiefs do best, which is they executed and they won. There's a lot of questions I have, especially being down here in Phoenix, for that Super Bowl moving forward, because this is one of the places that are on rotation. They're going to have to do something about the grass. I mean, you can't keep going through that many spikes. You can't keep having those many people feel like it's a slip and slide that they're playing on, as they've said, and continue to host the Super Bowl. Either you're going to have to go to completely turf, and maybe that's something that they talk about moving forward, or they're going to have to really do something about making sure like that grass is pristine. Because even though Jalen Hurts had that fumble, switching the ball to different hands, you could definitely see that he was tripping on the turf as he was trying to roll out to do that because of the grass. So, I mean, that played a factor, but he shouldn't have switched hands either. But even with that being said, a magnificent Super Bowl, a Super Bowl that you couldn't have asked for anything better. Literally going down to the wire, you didn't know who was going to win. I know I put a prop bet in. It was a long shot, but I put a prop bet in of Devontae Smith winning Super Bowl MVP, and people kind of laughed. But in the first 2 quarters, I mean, he was going off. He had over 100 yards receiving. He had that long almost touchdown pass in the second half. And if he had gotten in and gone into the end zone, maybe it's different. The one thing I will say is keep your eye on this fish. I'm interested to see if the rules committee is going to find a way to change the quarterback sneak rule, because Brady was so good at it. And then Jalen Hurts, I would say, perfected it, especially last year, because they couldn't get a stop. Kansas City couldn't get a stop in the Super Bowl every time they went for a quarterback sneak.
Yeah, it's called a scrum. That scrum thing where they pushed them. You know, they had that rule. They got rid of that rule in college when Reggie Bush did that to Leinart in one of the championship games they played in back in the 2000s. But yeah, we could go on and on about the plays, the schemes. But you're up 24-14, and Reed came out, and I don't think they punted in the second half. And the bottom line is, this is what I learned about the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback. He had the best game ever for a guy that lost the Super Bowl. And the way he handled himself with his professionalism and his disposition, watch out. I didn't know this, and you and I'll get into it. We'll chop it up more about the fact that when we get into draft picks and on a future show, we're having Hardline on Saturdays. Everyone's going to give you picks. We're going to chop it up with them about all kinds of stuff, politics and sports. But Philly has 2 number 1 draft picks. They get a 10th pick in the fucking draft. How sick is that? Detroit got the Rams pick. Detroit had a great ending to the year. Seattle made the playoffs. They got Denver's pick. So you're going to have teams that made the playoffs and teams that finished strong with top draft picks. Let me ask you this. Let's segue to this real quick. Hardline is when I met John Hardison knows the most about professional basketball, which is really picking up right now. Too bad the guy was in the midst of a move. When I saw one of the greatest trade, what do they call it? When they call it the hot stove in the NBA. I want you to give, as you handicap, I'll give you the 3 names, and I'll give you the teams, and I want you to say what the teams are going to do, and I'll shut my mouth and let my dog out. And are they championship caliber? Let me finish. Durant to the Suns, Kyrie Irving to Dallas, and D'Angelo Russell to the Lakers. Does that make the Lakers a championship contender? I'll let you talk. Go.
So in terms of D'Angelo Russell, I don't think that it makes them a championship contender. I think that it helps in terms of their depth overall. I saw the way that they were moving Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is a phenomenal player, but the way that he was meshing necessarily didn't work with the way that they wanted to run the team. The biggest question in LA is, can Anthony Davis stay healthy? I mean, that's really the crux of it all. If Anthony Davis can't stay healthy, it doesn't matter who they add onto that roster. They're going to have issues because everything feeds through AD and LeBron. I don't think that makes them a championship contender. I think it gets them in the playoffs, maybe past the first round. If you're asking me in terms of the Mavs, I love Kyrie and Luka together. The question is who needs the ball the most and who's willing to make that sacrifice. They suffer at defense. Luka's not a great defender at all. He plays the pass lanes okay, but he's not a great defender. Kyrie's a decent defender, but not a great defender. And so when it comes down to those clutch moments, who's going to lock who up? And we don't have that answer. I think that the idea in Dallas to a certain degree is going to almost be Phoenix Suns circa '06, which is just run and gun, try to score more points than the other person, get to the foul line, and keep the pace and tempo up as fast as you can. Don't slow down, pedal to the metal. If we're talking about the Phoenix Suns now, I think that this makes them a championship contender. You've got guys that have international experience playing on the Olympic teams. You've got guys that have made it far deep into the playoff runs, guys that have played in the NBA championship game, and you've got an NBA champion, Kevin Durant. It's unfortunate what happened in Brooklyn. Did I see it coming? Yeah, I saw it coming, especially because prior to the start of the season, Kevin Durant asked for a trade to Phoenix, and Phoenix necessarily didn't want to give up as much capital as they did now. But I think that this makes them a championship contender. The biggest question is the health of CP3 and Durant. I think that you're going to see a lot of load management. I think if they could get a top 4 seed, you'll start seeing them towards the end of the season take more and more time off just to make sure that they're good to go for the rest of the season. But I think at this point, it's either going to be the Western Conference Finals, the Suns and Denver, or I think it's going to be the Suns and possibly the Grizzlies, depending on the seeding.
Wow. Well, I was going to ask you that. I said, I got 2 teams I want to talk about with you, Hardline, in the West. And I want you to handicap it in sorts of, can they make it to the conference championship, yes or no? Sacramento and Denver. The Kings have the longest drought of any team in sports, I think, of not making the playoffs. Can they both make a run?
Denver, yes. The Kings, no. The Kings are very young. They've got the brand new head coach in Mike Brown. I don't think that they have enough playoff experience. I don't think they have enough depth experience to make this run. I think that they look good. I think that they make the playoffs. I don't know if they necessarily make it even past the first round, depending on the seeding. But Denver has all the pieces that you could hope for. When they went out and got Aaron Gordon, when they went, 2-time MVP and Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray is back this year, which makes a huge difference in their presence and ball handling skills. I think that Denver is the team that's scary. I think Denver is the team that's going to make the Western Conference Finals.
Wow.
I think they're that good. I mean, realistically, what we've seen the last 2 years out of the Joker isn't even his best yet. And that's the scary part. He looks like a guy that smokes cigarettes and reads newspapers at the retirement home, but he could put up a triple-double whenever he so pleases. And that's the scary part, is we haven't seen his best yet.
Yeah, well, I just thought this whole trade scenario that happened a couple of weeks ago was so great for the NBA, because very rarely do you see a trade cycle where you move so many big names, I mean, superstars. And I go to the East right now. My wife wanted me to ask you a question. How would John Hardison bet any team with Zion Williamson when the guy just can't stay healthy? I know he's a top 10 talent in the league. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he can't stay healthy. So if I look at the East right now, you can't discount Boston's having a great year. I think Brooklyn's got a lot of nice little young players. I think that they're done. But you can't discount Milwaukee with Giannis. Milwaukee won the championship 2 years ago, correct? So my question to the NBA guru, is it a 2-team race in the East between Boston and Milwaukee, or is there something that Hardison sees as we head it? Because, look, we got 25, 26 games left for the playoffs, buddy. Who do you see other than those 2 that can make a run? Give a Daily Fish audience someone that we don't know about.
The Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that Cleveland Cavaliers are just a team that they've got a lot of young guys, a lot of good talent. They're ferocious. They're young. Their average age, I think, is 26 right now. I think that they're a very talented, very well-coached team. And give a lot of credit to JB Bickerstaff. I know a lot of us, when he took over, we were like, this guy, like, really? You're paying him to coach the Cavs? Oh, they're going to tank. And I don't think that they've missed a beat. I think that their whole thing is get young, get aggressive, and play ball stop dominant defense and play up tempo offense. And they've done a good job. The one team that I'm interested to see though, and I'll add this as a fourth team in the East right now to see how this works is the Miami Heat and where they go with this buyout of Kevin Love. There's a buyout in Cleveland for right now. They're talking about Kevin Love. He hasn't really played since January. Now they're saying that if the Cavaliers buy him out, that the Heat will probably be the front runners in order to sign him. It definitely gives them depth. It definitely gives them a guy that can spread the floor a little bit more. And if Kyle Lowry does get healthy, or I'll put this out there, even though I think his probably best spot is going as Washington, if Russell Westbrook does sign to the Miami Heat, then you've got Westbrook and Love, who have played together at UCLA, eons ago, but they still know each other very well. And then you add in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. You've got a very potent team with the the leadership of Pat Riley to get this done possibly.
Okay. Change gears a little bit. I had 5 sources. 2 are very reliable that tell me that, and Hardline and I are based here in Las Vegas. Well, Hardline's in Phoenix, but he has a lineage in Las Vegas and very close to this city. That Aaron Rodgers has just purchased a house in Las Vegas. I don't know if that's possible because Rodgers is watching the show right now. He's in his tank. Look, there's Rodgers. So somehow Rodgers he's in a 4-day tank where all you can see is his eyes because it's all dark. It's chiming in. I got to go here with you because we could talk for 2 minutes about this. I'm a big giant, as everyone knows, watches the biggest Raider fan on the planet. Every Raider fan that's a diehard thinks that. Okay, I don't get the narrative that some Raider fans on their blogs think that Derek Carr is better than Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders, you're a handicapper. Okay, the over and under on the Raiders right now for wins next year is 6.5. It was 8.5 last year. I think, and I want your take. You watch every Raider game. You text you during the games because you know the team. If Rodgers is on and I like Derek Carr. If Rodgers is on the team last season that went 6-11, there's no way that they don't win 2 or 3 of those games that they were up by 10 in the fourth quarter. Do you agree?
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, all the people that are writing that are definitely doing ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers in the cave right now, running around butt naked. Look, the reality is for me is you can't deny the talent of Aaron Rodgers. And look, you're talking about a guy that grew up in Detroit, NFC North guy that I hate playing Aaron Rodgers. I hated it. I hated playing Brett Favre as well. But we've been talking about this for the last few weeks or up to a month is I really believe in my heart of hearts, Aaron Rodgers is coming to Las Vegas. I know people have said the Jets. I know people have said a lot of other places. But look, watching him walk off that stage in Green Bay, it is very prevalent to me that he knew that this was going to be the last game he probably played at Lambeau. With that being said, because he looked just like Tom Brady that last playoff game when they lost to the Tennessee Titans, when he was like, this is it. Like, it is what it is. It's time to move on. And there's nothing wrong with that because Aaron has been in Green Bay for so long now. I think that he wants something different. If he goes to the Jets, which is one idea that they said, I don't believe that because that'd be following in Brett Favre's footsteps all over again. And as I call Brett Favre Jr., I don't think he wants that. But I think that he's going to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'll say this, because I know we got to move on, is you notice Devontae Adams was very vocal about Derek Carr being his guy and everything. I support Derek. Derek's the reason I came here, X, Y, and Z. A week or two after, he stopped being as vocal and supporting him. And I think that's because behind the scenes, I'm not saying there was tampering involved. The NFL hear me. There was no tampering involved. I think that I think that there are conversations that were had where it was like, look at everything that we got here. I think that this is the place for you. It doesn't put you too far from your family in California. I know your wife is an actress. I think that right now, Aaron, this is the best opportunity for you. We got an owner who wants to win. We got a head coach that wants to make his mark. And you've got one of the best receivers in football right now, one of the best defenses in the league right now as well. I think that we can get it done. I think that we can make it happen.
Wait, stop. Raiders defense stinks. They're ranked 29th. You mean the defense in Green Bay had was good? I don't want that. I'm seeing the comments right now. Great defense? No. Raiders defense stinks.
I think the Raiders defense is better than what people give it credit for. And again, look, here's the thing, Fish. If you're up by 17 in a game, the way that you play defense is different than when it's a close game. We can both agree upon that, right? So if you're blowing 13-point leads, that makes a whole big difference because your offense is being stagnant and they're not moving the ball, at least putting yourself in the field goal range. So with that being said, look, I think that if Aaron Rodgers comes to the Raiders, which I think is going to happen, it puts them above the Chargers, in my opinion. It puts them above Denver, in my opinion. I can't necessarily say it puts them above Kansas City because Kansas City is the defending Super Bowl champs.
No.
But I think it doesn't put them too far behind Kansas City.
On offense, the Raiders' offense was ranked 12th last year, and they benched their quarterback. So you got to think Aaron Rodgers is a big upgrade. And it's this town, as you know, you live here. You need a splash right now, and you got to re-sign Jacobs if you're Raider Nation, and you sign Rodgers. Your defense is set, and go out and draft the hell out of defense. If you hit on two of your 7 or 9 draft picks or studs, I totally agree with you. You have passed Denver, and you're passing the Chargers, and you just get in the playoffs. It's all that really matters. Baseball season, hardline. Pitchers and catchers report next week. The Nationals are already in. As you know, we followed my path. I always take a team that stinks, and I bet the over/under in futures in the win total. I had over/under on the Baltimore Orioles last year at 62, and I cashed that ticket. So I need you, being the aficionado that you are on all the sports, give me a couple. Give me the teams, because I'm going to make a Daily Fish exclusive with Hardline right now. Give me some of the teams that are shitty, that are over/under 60, 70 wins, and I'll pick one right here on our podcast.
Okay, so the one I actually like, and I think that they'll make a change this year because there's usually Cincinnati Reds. I think the Cincinnati Reds get over 65 wins.
Wow, their pitching stinks. Okay, give me another one. Give me. You have it in front of you.
So yeah. So I say the Cincinnati Reds get over 65 wins. I'll take.
I'm putting my money on this. So okay, what would you say? Don't do it until you can laugh at me all season. So, give me the teams that are in the 65 to 70 range, over and unders, and then you and I will decide on where I'm putting my my chickens.
Pirates 67.5 over under. I'm going under.
Me too.
I don't think
it's got to be an over. I'm gonna do an over so we can watch them win. Okay, go ahead. That's out. Go give me another one.
Kansas City Royals 69.5.
Kansas City Royals. You know what they do at their stadium right around May or June? They did it last year on their jumbotron. It says, "Don't worry, only 8 weeks of training camp for the Chiefs."
Washington Nationals 60.5.
You know what? That's in the ballpark. I like Davey Martinez. They have a ton of injuries. It doesn't help that Strasburg opens up pitchers and catchers, doesn't show up. If Strasburg's hurt, forget it. But that's a contender. Go ahead.
I'll give you the Oakland Athletics over 60.5 wins.
Wow. Billy Beane always has a competitive team. Okay. All right. What else?
You know what? If they're going to move to Vegas, I got to believe they got to get over 60.5 wins to at least be something viable. So I probably would take that. The last one I got for you. Ooh, this is a tough one. Miami Marlins over under 76.5.
Oh boy, that's a tough one. That's 76.5. Mendoza line's 81. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 2 bets over. I'm going each league. I'm going to go the Cincinnati Reds because you like that, and I'm going Oakland A's because I'm Oaktown guy. I have everything Oakland. I got and I think they're moving here. So mark it down, Daily Fish. I got the Cincinnati Reds. Is this the Westgate? Where's this at?
This is MGM.
Okay, I'll get online. So we're going to go over on 65 for the Reds, and then we're going to go over on 60.5 for the A's. All right, you got it. We got it on. It's in the cloud.
Well, here's the crazy part. The Reds, what? The Reds 2 years ago won 70-something games?
And the Nationals won the World Series 3 years ago. I mean, it's crazy. What's the over-under? What's the over-under on the Phillies and the Dodgers? Just for shits and giggles.
Ooh, so the Phillies are 88.5. Your Dodgers are 95.5.
Okay. Give me an
That's
over under on this. We had you were unavailable on Mondays. We do our show, but I know that Hardline checks in. So I did the swag part of the show, and I gave the swag to one of the God, what the hell's her name? One of the Kardashian sisters. It wasn't Kim. Was it Courtney? Well, one of the Kardashian sisters developed a vagina gummy. Right now, John has no idea what I'm going to talk about because I got to keep him in the loop. You would have seen the look on his face when I read what you said. It's a vagina gummy. You take it, and it's supposed to make your vajay a sweet treat because you are what you eat. He turned red. I said, if Hardline can see this right now, I mean, you can't turn red. You've been laughing your ass off. What's the over under on how many times John went? You have to see his reaction. And I don't do it to see his reaction. You know, I had to read because I had to read what was down there, what she said verbatim. I couldn't memorize it, but wow, it was so great. And then to watch expression on his face, it's a shame. I mean, do you think when John watches a game, I know he's watching this right now, he's wherever he's at. You think when he watches a game, like when I watch a Raider game, I'm not a loudmouth, but I will say fuck, shit, or throw it. Do you think John watches a game and I'll go, oh, gosh darn, balderdash. Oh my God, that's not that's not a bad call. Stop with that tomfoolery. I mean, you think he's one of those guys? Over under how many times he curses during a game? 5. I say under.
Probably
Big time
under, way under. Unless maybe it's just one of those Red Sox games that's just really close. But no, definitely under 5.
Yeah, it kills him. It killed him at the Pro Bowl. We haven't talked the Pro Bowl. Could you believe I think you had you on after that. The Pro Bowl was an absolute dynamite success here in Las Vegas. Sold out. Great. $25 a ticket. I mean, it was and the game was the game. If you watched it, it was competitive and it was also entertaining. But they brought a lot of people to the city. It killed Daly. I'm bragging. He's not here to defend himself, but he will Monday. It killed him because he thought, oh, you know what? The Pebble Beach and college basketball is going to kill the Pro Bowl and the ratings. Here's where I'm segueing. The XFL starts today. I can't wait. At noon, the Vegas Vipers play. I know a lot of teams are getting good attendance. I know they're sold out. I'm going to the home opener next week with my son. They're playing at Cashman Field locally here. It kills Daly at the Pro Bowl, beats golf. So my question to you, because as a handicapper, and you're great at 68%, most people bet football. You wouldn't believe you should see the sports books today for the XFL down in Santa Fe. My buddy Dom works there. It's nuts. Are we that addicted to football? I know I am, but is it like a zombie apocalypse for football in this nation? What do you think?
I think that we're addicted to it because it's the chance of at any moment somebody could just get their lights, knocked out. Somebody could get clean. At the end of the day, this is the special time of year. The USFL years ago dominated the spring because there really isn't anything there. It's either baseball or nothing. NBA, NFL, NFL or the NHL. You're not really paying attention until you get close to the Stanley Cup championship.
Well, let me cut you off on the USFL because you're too. How old are you? About 35? How old are you?
Yeah, 33.
Okay, you're 35. I have a fucking leg your age. I'll be 63. You could be my son. You're so good looking. Hardline. In 1983, when the USFL started, they grabbed Doug Flutie, Jim Kelly, Steve Young, Herschel Walker. It was so much fun. I'm 23 years old, and they had a team in LA, and they drew. The Jacksonville had Reggie White. They were ultra competitive with the NFL with trying to get players, and they almost landed Dickerson. It was such a competitive league. Al Davis said this: if you took the best team in the USFL and was always the Stars under Jim Mora, they could compete and win 8-9 games in the NFL. I totally believe that. That's why it was so competitive, because you had nothing else on. And yes, we loved the NBA and NHL back then, but could you imagine an NBA league that was in the offseason that had a Kevin Durant and a Kyrie Irving and a Luka Doncic in it? You're going to watch it.
Absolutely.
This XFL is a minor league. Like today, you'll recognize this name. The quarterback for the XFL Vegas Vipers is Brett Huntley, who played at UCLA, was a backup to Rodgers for years. He's starting. You're going to notice a lot of guys. Martavis Bryant's a wide receiver. So
They let him
where I
back in?
like this is that in the last time the XFL played before and it stopped during COVID, I shit you not. Okay. I'm watching a game at Chuck's Tavern and I turned around to Jeremy, the assistant manager, and I said, this kid, Taylor Heineke, could play. And and actually, his team was playing, PJ Walker was probably with the Houston team. And I said, these two guys could play in the NFL. Not only can they play in the NFL, they've won games in the NFL. So don't give it a shot because I'm a second chance guy. And not everyone gets a chance because they don't get drafted. So it could be a lot of fun. What do you got planned this weekend, brother?
You know what? I'm going to watch some football. Definitely watch the All-Star game for the NBA because tonight's the best night, which is the Skills Challenge tonight. I don't really necessarily care about the game on Sunday, but I love the Skills Challenge All-Star Saturday night. I think that the NBA has made a amazing All-Star weekend experience because it's always a place to be. When you can put in Salt Lake City and sell out, you're great at marketing. You know, it's just one of those things that you are. Definitely enjoying my time with the family. I got Monday off because it's the holiday. So just watch as much sports as I can. Hopefully not listening to Tiger Woods get into any more trouble. I thought it was hilarious what he did, but other people.
No, we'll talk about that money. Oh, slipping a tampon to Justin Thomas is great. We'll talk about that. Watch John's face then. Oh, I love, bro. We love you, Dan. We miss you, but yeah, it's a great sports weekend. The NBA of all the All-Star games puts on the best show as far as entertaining the people that go to it. It's almost like the night before the NFL draft and Jerry Maguire, where everyone's there partying, having a good time. Still, and I think this is also an indictment. I hate to say this. The slam dunk contest and the three-point contest have better ratings than a lot of NBA games. That being said, baseball, we will, and this pisses John off, but it's true. The home run derby gets more action ratings wise than a lot of playoff games, and because we like that kind of stuff, we look at the flag football game 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. It's insane what the ratings were. And see, when you have the NBA markets itself better than anything. I remember I had that guy. We had that guy at Swag. He's developing new jersey. Wait till you see the NBA jerseys next season. It is so swag and so hip hop. It's going to be great. And when you market, you got to market to guys like John Hardison. The 18 to 45 demographic is the most important demographic to cater to and market to because they're the ones carrying the sport. Your generation, John, is carrying the torch. Because if you stop watching at your age, it's done,
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that was one thing that Major League Baseball did extremely well last year, and I can't remember if they did the year before, which was the alternative jerseys. And look how many people went out and bought them when they were like, this is actually really cool. The fact that you decide to add some flair or you decide to add something different to your jerseys that we haven't necessarily seen before. I think that that's the way that you captivate audiences is give them something that's different. Like I can tell you in the NBA, look how many alternative jerseys they have. And I mean, they're selling out of them left and right. Like, who would have thought teal works for the Phoenix Suns, but they can't keep them in stock?
No, it's great. We started to sing out. It was so great. Rihanna's halftime show. I'm a big fan of hers. She's a hall pass. She's elegant, great. I mean, there's a woman. I'm not afraid of heights because there's 100 fucking feet above the field and she's pregnant. And she never once looked like she was scared. But when she grabbed that shit, when she grabbed her box and she grabbed her butt, I was on the fucking ground. And all I could see was Daly. Oh, poppycock. They can't do that on the NFL. It's a PG rated affair. God bless him. Hey, would that be great if Tiger plays today because he made the cut and he hands Justin Thomas or he hands John Rahm a vagina gummy by one of the Kardashians in one hand and a tampon in the other? I think Daly commit Harry. He being a lithium drip like I was when the football season ended, and then a straitjacket. Hey, what's Phoenix? What's going on down in Phoenix right now? How's the weather? What's going on? We miss you here in Vegas, man. Everyone asks the Chuck's Tavern, where's Hardline? I go, he's in Phoenix hanging out with the see, people don't realize that Phoenix is a hotter desert than Las Vegas. Tell them it is.
It is. No,
it gets hotter in the summer in Phoenix than it does here.
It gets very hot during the summer. It's been cold down here actually, like in the 30s. It's as crazy as it sounds. But no, you know what? It's kind of like a relaxing weekend because everybody's kind of getting back into the swing of things because of the Super Bowl last week. Last week, the Super Bowl was nuts from everywhere from Scottsdale. Every club was packed. So many celebrities were at the different clubs doing promos, to the game being over in Glendale and even downtown Phoenix and even East Phoenix. It was all busy, even with the golf, the Waste Management Championship or Waste Management Tournament last weekend being busy. This weekend is kind of getting back into the swing of things, but not too long from now, we still got all the spring break kids coming in. So that's another thing. And you're going to get that up there too, because March Madness is right around the corner.
Well, the Strip in Las Vegas does such a great job of catering to that kind of crowd or any kind of event you have. I will tell you this, and we'll end the show on this. Could you imagine what this city is going to be like for Super Bowl? The Super Bowl, everyone, is in Las Vegas next season. And I know the way this town, living here over 4 decades, so I know how this town puts on a show and how they put on a party. It's going to be epic. And I'll tell you how epic it's going to be. We're getting offers right now on the house for an Airbnb. And it's huge because all the casinos, all the hotels, we have more hotels and rooms than any other city in America. Everyone knows the biggest. It's all hotels. They're all sold out. So I will Airbnb my house, and my mother-in-law just go live with my mother-in-law and my wife for a week. So we're all going to make money on this thing. And if you think Phoenix did a remarkable job from that, NFL is so happy with what Glendale and Phoenix and surrounding communities, Tempe, Scottsdale, Mesa did with the Super Bowl. Hardline, if you had a handicap, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what grade would you give Vegas on its effort to put on a hell of a show next year?
I give it easily a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's going to be a phenomenal experience. It's going to be an experience that can't be replicated. Mark my words, unless it's for tax purpose reasons, Vegas will replace New Orleans on that list of consistent.
Oh, absolutely. You mean the rotation of Miami, Tampa, New Orleans, and LA? Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're already in it. I mean, we got a dome stadium. The weather's great. And there's so many things that it's going to be fun. So we're excited about that.
Oh, man.
All right, man. We miss you in Vegas. Same. Everyone says hello at the bar. All your girlfriends want to know where you're at, And what can I tell you? He's married. He's in Phoenix. He'll make a celebrity visit one time. We'll put him behind. Make him a celebrity bartender, and then got your fried shrimp for you, brother.
Hey, I'm coming for it. I'm coming in hot and fast.
All right, man. We'll see you next Saturday. Next Saturday, we'll focus on some college basketball. Okay?
Hey, I'm here for you.
All right, man. Thanks. Later, Hardline.
Take care.
Are you gonna end or what? You done?
This thing's still live, man.
What's that?
It's still on the live for you.
Oh, still live?
Yeah, still live.
Taking a long time here. It won't end the broadcast.
It doesn't want to let us go.
Having trouble connecting. Check your internet.